Hey, how he's going? Ultra Edgo here. Bit of a serious one today. Now I hear there's some rumours going around town that the D in my name is silent. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's Edgo. Edgo. Okay? For old alter ego is a dirty word. Now see this picture from 1923? That's my great-grandparents. And in there, with the whole family, is Grandpop, my grandfather, Frank Edgerton. And I loved him and Grandma so much that when I was 18 months, I packed up out of the Bamboo Coffee Lounge and I moved down to Curramine with them for 6 weeks. That's after they moved from their farm at sundown, Blink Bonnie. That's when the oldies took a world cruise, including to Disneyland. Hello? Maybe the kids might like to see Mickey Mouse too. At least we got t-shirts. But that bloody clanging monkey that they brought with the cymbals scared the crap out of me. I stopped another night at Grandma and Grandpop's. Ha! Yeah, I grew up there at Ninds Cr on my great-grandfather's property, cane property, in a cane cutter's barracks. Had no doors on the bedroom that I shared with my older brother. My sister didn't have any doors on her room either until she became a young lady, you know what I mean? Yeah, if we left the lights on in summer, the whole bed would be full of stink beetles. But some lucky nights we'd have fireflies come in the room, and that was something special. No grass grew below the veranda. Should have planted a lemon tree. Yeah, back then the banks were tight with money. Real tight. Tighter than Pauline Hanson's grip on crazy. Yeah, so the oldies only got the money off the bankers to buy the farm by convincing them that we live like paupers on the streets of Calcutta. And we did. One time some mates drove right past my house. These fellas were mates from uni, and they reckon no self-respecting white people would ever live there. Yeah, many of you won't know this, but I actually went to uni for a few months there. When I just turned 17, Oldie said I had to have something behind me, you know. Brother's a welder, bloody good welder. I was shithouse with my hands, but I had a pretty good memory, so I went to uni for a while. But I kept on ringing up, begging to let me come home to the farm. And eventually they caved, which is just as bloody well. Probably end up a bloody greenie, or worse still, a woke bastard. Anyway, yeah, things were pretty good there for a while until, you know, the sugar price crash at the start of the 80s. Yeah. Hey, do you remember the time when Joe Bajolki came? Must have been 81 or 82. We dropped a ton of raw sugar in front of the Shoei Hall. And Joe Bajolki said he couldn't do a thing for us because we hadn't done anything for him. Because Bill Moore was so popular and he was a bloody lefty. Fair dinkum. Oh, but don't you knock Joe Bajolki, no. The way things turn out, eh? But here's the thing you should all remember. You can make someone feel different. You can make them feel like they don't belong or like they don't belong anymore. It's not nice and it's not decent, but it happens. But you can never take away from someone who they are and their share of your shared history. You can't take that away from anyone. Oh, you still here? Ah, it's Brett here. How are you all? Yeah. Alter, he's just gone for a rest. This video took a fair bit out of him actually. But actually I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you myself. If you don't know me, I'm the youngest grandchild of Frank and Nellie Edgerton, who retired down at Curramine Beach. I'm also the youngest of the fourth generation descendants of Charles and Margaret Edgerton, who moved to Innisfail in 1883. I'm the youngest to bear the Edgerton name. And that's something that I'm very proud of. Now, the pride and love that I feel for my grandparents and my broader family does not impact my ability to be honest about their failings and my own failings. And it shouldn't be an impediment to anybody else doing the same. For me personally, disconnection with my cultural background began almost instantaneously once I fell in love with a woman of colour. And now that I look back with perspective that 30 years gives, I can see some pretty major signposts of that. Like within a year or two of being married, some relations who attended our wedding had the audacity to sit in front of me and tell me they were supporting a woman who stood in the Parliament and declared that Australia is in danger of being overrun by Asians. And to tell me that she is only saying what everybody else thinks. Then I had the feeling of being hugged by the person who above all else had nurtured and loved me through my life, hugged me with the most empty, hard heart, because they could not connect with the pain that I was feeling because of someone making a racist comment. So much so that they denied that it was even racist. And then finally, recently, a mentor above all mentors tells me who would want to live next door to Indians, which just confirmed what I didn't have the guts to admit to myself, that they must be ashamed of me and must feel self-conscious themselves whenever they're seen in public with me or associated with me. It is racism that divides us and always has divided us before we even became a nation through federation. Only the gutless and inauthentic can't see that or can't admit that to themselves. For all the self-congratulating we do, being from the regions, brought up in the country, we lack the courage to actually admit these simple truths to ourselves. Instead, we listen to conservative idiots like Tony Abbott and Barnaby Joyce, and we let ourselves be manipulated from afar by Murdoch for his own personal business interests, And we go along with little lies that allow us to sidestep taking responsibility for our own actions and the actions of people who've come before us. That's a simple truth. To be entirely personal now, because I'm not going to go to these depths again, although I nearly did for our House Hunters International episode. In some ways I regret that I didn't now. There's no doubt that racism has cost me the opportunity to be the son and the brother, and most of all, the uncle that I wanted to be. Nothing can undo that hurt, because time cannot be wound back. Can't be given back to me, and it can't be given back to anybody. Okay, and what would be the point if we could wind back time? Because others just haven't had it in them to be honest about the nature of their feelings. So now I face a situation where I've been excluded from family events. I mean, even when I come to my father's 75th birthday, one member of the family greeted us with a stare that said we were complete dirt, my family. Weddings are going to take place in my family that I'm not going to be a part of. I'm not going to be invited to. And even worse, when the time comes to mourn, I'm going to feel like I'm not welcome. And that's just going to add even more to the pain and pressure of that situation for me and my family. But when I am in Innisfail, when I am in my hometown, I will go where I want to go. And I will hold my head up high. Not because I think I'm superior, because I've travelled the world and I've done a lot in my life, but because I've been inside me. I've had the guts to look at the good and the bad and acknowledge the stuff that isn't good, that isn't nice, and try and work at being better, working at being the best version of myself I can be. And that's to my credit. And I did it because I was inspired by that woman and those boys.